Greg Pelcott, live for us in London. Greg, thank you. Let's pick up right there. The threat of a Russian invasion of Ukraine, just one of foreign policy challenges on the president's plate. And Joe Biden is receiving low marks for his record as commander-in-chief after nearly a year full of fumbles. Joining us now to discuss it, Asia expert Gordan Chang, former CIA station chief who served in Moscow, Dan Hoffman, and Rebecca Heinrichs, senior fellow at the Hudson Institute. Thank you guys for being here this early Tuesday morning. Let's go right to what's happening with a Russian invasion of Ukraine. The threat, obviously, you heard Greg Pelcott there saying that diplomats in Kiev being told to possibly evacuate. I'll start with you, Dan. You know this area quite well. What should we perceive is the situation on the ground there?
Well, it's a very dangerous situation on the ground. You know, Russia made extremely unrealistic demands that they have a veto over Ukraine's NATO membership, which NATO would never allow. They've massed 100,000 troops. They've got a loaded gun aimed at Ukraine right now. They've got lots of options, including a blockade in the Black Sea, further invasion in eastern Ukraine, and potentially even attacks all the way to Kiev. This is a very serious situation. Russia is trying to demonstrate that the United States and NATO do not have the wherewithal to defend a sovereign nation in what Russia considers to be its own sphere of influence. And that is at the heart of what Vladimir Putin is doing. And it's a key requirement for our intelligence community to determine his plans and intentions as far as whether he will push for an additional military engagement inside Ukraine.
A bipartisan group of senators met with President Zelensky. This is Senator Blumenthal talking about what Congress will do if Russia invades. Listen.
We will impose crippling economic sanctions, but more important, we will give the people of Ukraine the arms, lethal arms, they need to defend their lives.
Rebecca, will that be enough to deter it?
No, with respect to the senator, that's such a joke. I mean, their solidarity that they want to express would have been a lot more believable had they actually brought lethal aid, or had he not voted against the Nord Stream 2 sanctions that Senator Cruz just tried to re-implement. I mean, listen, these are the big power levers that Congress can be pushing and pulling this administration, the Biden administration, to do to weaken Russia and to demonstrate solidarity. But you keep hearing Democrats from the Biden administration to Senate Democrats saying that there's this new transatlantic solidarity and that's what's going to win the day. I mean, it's all smoke and mirrors. It's a sham. The Ukraine defense minister has accused the Germans of being the ones that have stopped lethal aid from coming through NATO channels. And then, of course, the United States is not getting that lethal aid that's necessary there. So there's things that could have happened earlier on so that we would never get here. This didn't have to happen. And so the senator's words just, I mean, they just have empty meaning here, Griff.
In Ukraine, not the only hot spot right now. China, as you write, Gordan, very aggressive, threatening Taiwan, one of many hotspot issues. Let me just show you President's approval rating on foreign policy. 35% approve, 54% disapprove currently. Gordan, what grade would you give President Biden handling the foreign affairs issues?
It's got to be below a C. And the reason is that Biden is not deterring the Russias and Chinas of the world. You know, we have a situation which looks very much like 1937, where it was obvious what the Germans were going to do. And Britain and France were in a position to stop the Third Reich. But they, through feeble policies, they decided not to do so. They allowed the situation in Europe to drift to war. Well, we got the same thing in Asia, and of course, we have the same thing in Ukraine. And unfortunately, this is the process where we end up in a global conflict, because once the Russians do something, the Chinese will do something, the North Koreans, the Iranians, the Pakistanis. And so we could end up in a global conflict.
Below a C, that's a C minus. We're out of time, but quickly, Dan, what grade would you give the president?
Oh, boy, I'm not in the habit of giving out too many grades. But look, the Biden administration is facing a dizzying array of wickedly complex threats to our national security, including, I would add, the one with the shortest fuse, which is terrorism. And it's only gotten worse after our chaotic withdrawal from Afghanistan. The question is whether the Biden administration has the bandwidth to deal with all of these threats at the same time. And right now, I think there's concern about whether they do.
We got to leave it there. Rebecca, one-word answer. You give it a grade?
F's all the way down, Griff.
F's all the way down. Gordan, Chang, Dan Hoffman, Rebecca Heinrichs, thank you very much for taking time on this Tuesday. Todd?
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.